I remember the website was jam-packed and I couldn't see what state I got up until much later, like midnight, and I just saw NYSC guide to Enugu State. I'm like, wait, what? I got to the camp and I saw the camp. I think that was the first shocker that I had. I was just like, what? What is actually going on here? That in camp, I was already saying, oh, I'm redeploying, like I was so sure. And when one of my friends said that I got a post letter, she just came to her husband, she's like, please just leave me because I don't want to start crying here. Like, for real, just leave me. Just please leave me. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're absolutely welcome. My name is Okwemi, and on this channel, I make videos on lifestyle, personal development, and soon to come medicine. So basically, I started this channel during my NYSC year while in Enugu State, and so I've just thought that it would only be right to wrap up the entire NYSC content on my channel by doing an NYSC experience video. And this video is going to be in form of a story time. I'm basically going to be gisting you guys about the entire year from when I saw my posting letter to now that the year is over. And I really just hope that by the time you finish this video that my story would encourage you if you ever have to go do your NYSC, which is National Youth Service Corps, for those who may not be Nigerians, in a state that you never planned to go to, or if you have to ever relocate to a place that, you're not ready for, whatever the case may be. I just hope that this video would, one, entertain you, and also that you'll be able to pick up salient lessons from this video. This entire year was really a testament of God's faithfulness, and I really did see Him just help me get through the year, because I think a lot of people don't really talk about the reality of having to go and do NYSC. While we're in university, we all know that, oh, after uni, and well, for medical professionals, after internship, I'm going to go and serve. But usually the year of service is not really spoken about, especially for those who eventually serve in a state that they had no plans to go to, a state that was far from home. It can be a pretty rough change, especially when you don't have any family there, you don't have any friends there. It can be a really rough change. It can be, you can feel isolated, you can feel alone. It can be a lot mentally and emotionally. And that's why I'm doing this video, just to encourage anybody who is in that space, who feels like, yeah, I have to go to another state and I don't know how I'm going to cope, and basically also just to let you know that God is good. So I'm going to jump right into the story now, and I hope that you enjoy this video and you share with your friends. Okay, all right, I'm going to start this story from, okay, so I finished university in 2019 September. That's when I did my induction into the medical profession, and then I started my internship, finished my internship in 2020. So there was COVID, there was a lot of backlog, so I couldn't go to serve up until 2021. So I went to serve in 2021 March, which was the batch A stream 1. Initially we thought it was going to be April. I was still working where I did my internship as a local medical officer, so I had dropped a resignation letter in February against April because I thought that camp was going to be April. But you guys know how NYSC people are. They just literally spring up with the dates, and then you just have to literally reschedule your whole life and make it happen, except if you want to wait for the next batch. So yeah, so that's what happened. We had been thinking April, and then they brought out the information and said it was going to be March, and then my school released the list, my name was there, all of that. So I remember when it was time for registration, I went to the cyber cafe to pick my first state. And honestly, I don't remember the states I picked, but I remember obviously there was Enugu and there was Kogi or Kwara. I think Kogi or Kwara, whichever one it was the closest I had to home. And you guys know, I've said it before on this channel, that my family lives in Enugu State. So that was the closest state I had to home. But at that point in time, I had been making plans to serve in either Oyo State or Ogun State. I'm from Ogun State, so I was just like, Ogun State might not really work. So Oyo State was more like, okay, yeah, Oyo State kind of thingy. And so I'd been looking forward to serving in Oyo State because I didn't want to go too far from home. Yeah, because NYSC here, you also know, we know that the finances are not so great, especially for medical professionals. During your internship, you've earned a good amount of money, close to 200k, depending on where you're working, but usually between the range of 160 to almost 200,000. So you've been exposed to earning that kind of money, and then in NYSC here, your finances, reduce a lot. So most people always try to stay at home for NYSC here, just so they don't have to bother about feeding or about certain essentials, because the salary is considerably low. So that was my plan as well, like, okay, the salary is not going to be so much, so let me be at home at least, so I know that the only thing I'm spending on is maybe going to be fuel. I will be eating from home. I won't have to pay bills, I won't have to buy essentials, things like that. So that was my thought process about the year. So when I went to pick my state, I picked Enugu just because I had heard I had an airport. I just thought, yeah, let me just put something there because I have to pick 4 states. I did not know that I would be here, indeed. So that happened, and somebody was working on helping me get Oyo State or Enugu State. But guys, the day that posting letter came out, I remember the website was jam-packed and I couldn't see what state I got up until much later, like midnight, and I just saw NYSC guide to Enugu State. I'm like, wait, what? To be fair, when I saw that, I was not really bothered, let me be honest, because so I put it on my class group chat. Everybody was putting up their states. People were getting funny states, honestly, funny states. A lot of funny states. People were like, Enugu is not bad, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, if you guys say so, no problem. So I started buying my things for camp, started getting ready, all of that stuff. Told my parents. The person that was supposed to help with direct posting was like, oh no, it's okay, don't worry, you will redeploy. At that point, I didn't know that redeployment for doctors was really hard, and other medical professionals, right? So I mean, March 10, I went to Enugu, got to Enugu, took a cab from the airport to the camp. I had met up with 2 other ladies who were going to my camp on, like, because when NYSC posting comes out, there'll be like multiple group chats. So I had met 2 of them through the group chat, and then we're on the same plane, and so we took a cab together. No, so guys, when I got to all of this while, I wasn't really bothered because I was like, well, it's okay to go to another state for camp. I would come back home. I'm not really bothered. And at that time, I knew then that I didn't have any relative, any family, nobody in Enugu State. I think it would have been a bit better if I had one of my classmates from school who was also posted there, but there was literally, I was the only one. So yeah, let me get back to when I got to camp. When I got to the camp and I saw the camp, I think that was the first shocker that I had. I was just like, what is actually going on here? It is very old looking. It is very hilly. Guys, I mentioned it before on this channel that Enugu is up a hill, so the camp rather is very hilly. And I remember just looking like, am I really going to be living up a hill? Am I really going to have to walk and climb this? Okay, now in retrospect, when I started getting used to it, but that first day was just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. So got there, rinsed our hands, the whole COVID stuff. After that, we went to go and do the COVID test. After getting my COVID test done, they searched my bags. They were checking for things like breakable plates, extension box, stuff like that. And then I got assigned a room. Thankfully, I got a room that was good. It was a room of just 6 people. We had only 6 bunks. And because of COVID, it was just 1 person per bunk, so we're 6 in the room, and it was like arranged like 1 2 3 1 2 3, so the entire middle area was free. And in my room, two of the girls that I came to camp with from the airport, shout out to Greatness and AJ, were also my roommates. And then the other 3 people were also really lovely people. So I think we're 3 Yorubas, and then 1 Igbo, and then 2 Niger Delta people in the room. And the entire stay in that room was just bliss. We never had an issue, we never fought. We always looked out for each other. We were looking out, like, we were in agreement, we're just in sync. It was just perfect. I think that's the first testimony of what God did. Like, I didn't even pray or like ask God to favor me in terms of who I would, because I didn't know what to even expect in terms of rooms. But I'm just so glad that I got to have those amazing roommates. We blended, and it was just good. There was nobody gossiping another person. It was just great. Do you get? So I'm just really happy about that. So after that, I so went to do all of the camp registration and stuff. By that time, people had already resumed camp, so we saw people coming back from evening drill. So yeah, we didn't used to do our activities in the camp. We used to walk down the road to another stadium for the camp. So yeah, that's how my first day in camp went. The bathroom was really bad. Bathroom and toilet, of course, was really bad. There was water, at least thankfully there was water. We had to be fetching water and storing, but thank God I didn't experience any of all those somebody stealing my water kind of situation throughout my camp stay. So the second day of camp, which was my first day in camp of activities in camp, I went for morning drill, and after I went for that morning drill, I said never again. My period started that same day. and I got stained that day 3 different times. And you know how camp is, we're wearing white shorts. I was just like, you know what, I'm not going for morning drill again. So I joined the camp clinic, because obviously if you're a medical professional, you have to join the camp clinic. Well, it's not really compulsory, but majorly you have to join camp clinic. So I joined camp clinic. I was working with them there. We had a roster, all and all and all and all and all. So camp generally was not bad. It was good, met amazing people, enjoyed my stay. It became fun. I adapted. It wasn't comfortable, but I learned to adapt. And it was just fun, to be fair. There were a lot of nice people. I think in camp it's just really great how people are just nice, because everybody's just there to, they know that, oh, I don't know, people are just generally nice, and I don't know if that's just my own experience, but I thought that most of the people that I met in camp were really nice. Let me fast forward to the day that camp finished. So you know the normal stuff now. If you're okay, if you don't know, the normal stuff is that if you have tried redeployment, usually you will not get a posting letter on the day camp ends. You would see that your redeployment has been processed on your dashboard of the NYSC portal. So I had been checking my dashboard, refreshing. There was nothing. My friend in Anambra had told me that, oh, her redeployment had worked and she had gotten Oyo State. I was there waiting. And at this point, for my direct posting, I had 1 person working on it. For redeployment, I had about 3-4 people working on it. So it was almost sure that redeployment is definitely going to work. Guys, it didn't come through that day. Got after March Pass and everything, PPA sharing came, and I got my letter. I'm like, it's getting real. Guys, I was agitated. I'm not even gonna lie. I called my dad. I was just like, I did not get redeployed. I'm still here. I like, then the reality set in that, wait, I may be in Enugu State for the next 1 year of my life. Wow. So after that, a lot of people were saying different things. Oh, don't go to your PPA. If you're trying to redeploy, if you go there, they will block it, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know what, okay, I'm not going to go, because I already planned I was going to travel back home that day. So I just went home that day, And then I think after camp, like a week after, the weekend after camp was one holiday. I think Easter or Salah, I'm not sure, I don't remember now which it was. There was Shah on holiday, and the people helping me kept on saying, no, don't worry, it's going to show after Salah, And like I said, before NYSC, I was working. So where I was working, I was still living there. So I had to also go home and go and move out. So I had to also rush home and go and do that, because I was still living within government premises, within government property. So I had to go home and go and sort that out as well. So I kept on waiting. And guys, I was not waiting graciously. I was waiting agitatedly. I was so frustrated most days. I was just really off. I was just like, what? I might actually be here for 1 year. Me that in camp, I was already saying, oh, I'm redeploying. Like, I was so sure. When one of my friends said that I got a post letter, she just came to her. She's like, please just leave me, because I don't want to start crying here. Like, for real, just leave me. Just please leave me, because the way I'm feeling, you will not understand. So yeah, that happened, and the holiday came and passed. There was still nothing. About 2 or 3 weeks after, and at this point my LGI had called me about twice to come and resume my posting. So when this thing still wasn't coming through, the person kept on reassuring me that, oh, it would come. So at this point I just said, okay, let me even go and resume in Enugu. So I came back to town, came with only 1 box, like 2 boxes, 1 carry-on and then a big box, with the hopes that I will still go back home, right? And so the first, another testimony in all of this is also that one of my roommates, like I said, lives in Enugu. One were the odds, like she actually lives in Enugu. She is from Enugu, and she had told me that, oh, if you need a place to stay, please let me know, you can stay at mine and stuff. So I called her a few days before I had to come back to say, oh, please, I need somewhere to stay. Can I stay at yours? And she graciously agreed, you guys. So I was at her place for a bit, for about 3 weeks, almost a month to be fair, before I was able to finally sort out my accommodation issue. It was just very kind of her to have let me stay at her place. Really, shout out to Yamaka, thank you so much. So yeah, I came back to Enugu, went to see because my PPA on my letter was Enugu South local government. So I went to Enugu South local government that day, which is also still in town, and then they called the person that was actually my employer, then they took me to the hospital where I was going to be working. Another testimony, I did not influence anything about my PPA, which is my primary place of assignment, which is the place where I did my 1 year work. I had no influence over it at all whatsoever, because I didn't even think I was going to serve here. But I'm just really grateful for the place where I eventually served, because I had been, God knew, it was like as if God knew that I needed a break from the rigors of medicine. If you know how medicine is, you work weekends, not every weekend, but you get to do weekend calls, you get to do daily calls. Where I worked in my NYSC, there were no calls, no weekday calls, no weekend calls, nothing. I was doing a 9 to 4 job every day, 4 times a week, which later even became 3 times a week when the whole sit-at-home thing started. So I really liked the hours. Also because I had an exam, it was just perfect for me because I also had an exam, which is another testimony of God just taking care of me without even asking. And also the people that I got to work with were just really amazing. I'm also going to say that before I came back to Enugu, while I was agitated and crying and frustrated, I remember talking to one of my friends one day, and he told me that God had said, I don't remember what he said verbatim, but something about God saying that if I'm coming back to Enugu, I should be rest assured that he's going to take care of me. That's how I can remember what he said to me. Basically to trust God that he would take care of me and stuff. And looking back at the year, that's really been my testimony of God just taking care of me. So that happened. I was working there, still shuffling from my friend's house, trying to get an accommodation. So I was the first corper doctor they were going to be having at my PPA because they just opened the hospital like a few weeks before I resumed. So they hadn't gotten a corper doctor before, so accommodation was an issue. So there's a village really close to town, that's where my PPA is. It's called Amechi, and I didn't want to live there. For some reason I just wanted to be in town, and I also wanted to be in a place that was not quiet. I wanted a lively environment, or I just wanted to have people around me. Although I'm more of an introvert, but I still like to hear, oh, a car is passing, or oh, I know that there's somebody next door, or stuff like that. So I wanted to get a house of maybe a 3-bedroom with 3 different people living there in each room, something like that. And so I was house hunting for a while. I remember at some point I was considering staying in one of these copper lodges. I went there to check it out, but the living condition there, as much as I wanted people around me, that one was too crowded up. But the lady was kind enough to give me an agent's number, and so she gave me the agent's number, and I called the agent, and the guy was even Yoruba, and he found me where I currently stay, which is like, I really love this environment. I really, really do. I would miss this area when I leave Enugu, to be honest. I just really like it. It's very central. You can easily access anywhere in town. I just really, really like it, actually. So another testimony, because my PPA people, there were certain PPAs that could just say, find yourself a house, we don't care, that's your business. But they gave me some money. I had to add some eventually, but they gave me a good amount of money to get a place, and I'm really grateful. So I'm also going to say that if you're a doctor, just know that Enugu, they don't really pay so well. There are some places that pay well, but generally the pay isn't so great, especially if you're working in a government place. So I'll say that that's one of the biggest issues that I had in this year. You know, going from earning a good amount of money to earning something, to earning like a quarter of what I was earning before. It's been a really hard change. Okay, maybe not a quarter, but a little over a quarter of what I was earning before. It was a really hard change, and also having to feed myself, having to transport myself. But I just thank God, because somehow, you know, he really, there was never a time where I was there was never a time where I did not have anything. I just kept on having money come in one way or the other, and I just really thank God. Yes, I did have savings as well, so yeah, that really helped. And just big shout outs to my parents. This 1 year really you know when they say adulthood is the real ghetto, or adulthood is a scam, this is what that 1 year felt like for me, because it was different. It just was different from, you know, when you're in school, soft life. And I went to a private university where we had lights, only one in the room. During my internship, I had one roommate, but our lives were very comfortable. We had lights, you know. To come into a place where we're fetching water up the stairs, you know, where prepaid meter is finishing and we're having to call, and they are still not buying it as early as possible. I didn't have a generator. There was just a couple of hardships here and there that just made me feel like, God, this year, wow. And that's another thing. Just know that whatever it is that you're going through, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years down the line, it would pass. You know, as long as it's a temporary situation, it will pass. And look at me, NYSC is over. I can go back to my family. So yeah, just had to quickly say that. So during the course of the year was good. So it was during the year that I started my YouTube channel, which is one of the blessings that this year really afforded me, and I'm really grateful. I've always wanted to do YouTube, but I just never really started. And I'm glad that I finally got to start in this year. I think that I'm just really glad that that really happened. So yeah, that's really good. I also found a really good church. So in Enugu, I attend House on the Rock, which was an amazing church. Met amazing people there, connected with amazing people there. Really, I'm really glad I got to go there during my NYSC year. It's just been a year of growth on all sides. I've had to grow emotionally a lot. I had to grow, spiritually. I grew physically. I grew mentally. I just grew a lot because I've never been this independent. I think that's the truth. So the only time I've ever lived out of Enugu State was when I did my A-levels for 2 years. So basically, I've been in hostels since secondary school. So in secondary school, I was in the hostel. A-levels, I was in the hostel. Uni, I was in a hostel. So I've had some level of independence in the past. During my internship, I also didn't live at home. I was living in an apartment at the hospital. So I've had some level of independence, but I've always still been around home. So even during A-levels, if I needed maybe one food and I don't want to use my money, I'll just quickly go home and collect. You get that kind of thing. So I've always had home close by. But this time around, I don't have home close by, like at all. Yes, I did go home, a few times, but it was nothing compared to going home every week or just really taking a drive and say, oh, let me just go home and go. And there was a day I wanted to cook when I was in internship. I wanted to make seafood boil. And I had gone to the market to look for corn. There was no corn. I just called my mom and she goes, oh, there's corn at home. I drove home and I went to get the corn. I can't do that here. If I don't have, I don't have. Do you get? So I had to be very independent. And I'm glad because obviously I'm going to keep adulting from now onwards. So why not? So it's been a really growing year. And I just think my testimony is that God just took care of me. He really, really did. And I'm just really grateful that the year is over, this has passed, and I can move on to other aspects of my life and continue to do other things. I also got to explore the city. I've never been to the southeastern part of Nigeria before, and I got to explore Enugu, meet people, which was really good. I think I'm just in a place now where it's like, even if I have to move to any place in the world, I kind of know that I will be fine. I know how to manage that now. I know how to join a community and integrate myself with people. Yes, I'm not the most outgoing or most extroverted person, so I might not have as many friends, but I still know how to find my footing, really. And I think that's another testimony of this, really, to just say I've grown a lot, and I'm really thankful for the experiences of the year. Really just happy about everything, the house I got. Yes, we did have some issues here, but in comparison to some things that I've heard, it is a really good accommodation option. Yeah, so I think that's the experience. That's what the year was like. So it wasn't bad. Yeah, so I hope that somehow you enjoyed my story. I tried to not make this video too long because I want you guys to watch it, and I just hope that this encourages your heart. If you ever have to make a move or if you ever have to do anything, to know that God will take care of you. God can be trusted, especially if you're a person of faith. NYSC is over. It's over. It's over. It's over, guys. It is over. So I will be leaving Enugu soon, and yeah, okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video blessed your heart. I hope it encouraged you. And if you've done NYSC, let me know how your experience has been, what you've learned in the year. Did you enjoy the year? Would you recommend it? The only reason why I would not recommend NYSC is the money. Actually, many reasons, because I'm like, I really don't have to go through all the things I went through. You literally can just stay in your state and serve. That's my opinion. Just stay where you're living and serve, The whole point is to serve Nigeria. You don't have to go to a state so far. You get? By the end of the day, we know that all things work together for good for them that love God and are called according to his purpose and stuff. So we know that everything, even the plans of NYSC to carry us far from home, it works together for God's good, right? So great. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next video. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do that. please subscribe. Please also click the notification button just beside the subscribe button, and please like, please share, please comment down below. I would love to read from you, and I will see you in my next video. All right, bye.